So Turner started a little over 50 years ago, my grandparents, John and Lulu. I came into farming after graduate school. I actually studied public policy and I saw myself drawn to alternative agriculture. We basically grow for our own market as well as for wholesale, and we fill trucks that serve the lake communities. So the Turner season actually starts in the middle of winter when we do all of our planning. A lot of people ask, you guys must get a lot of rest over the winter and, you must have a great break. And I always joke with my dad because we actually work full-time over the winter with all the planning that we have to do. Then we go into spring and we plant annuals and perennials for sale in our greenhouse, as well as all of our vegetable starters. During the end of spring and into the first part of the summer, we have strawberries and we sell quite a bit of fruit. And then we move into our summer months where we grow pretty much everything you can think of when you think of a Wisconsin summer. So sweet corn is our big draw. We grow beans and peppers and tomatoes and cucumbers and all those good things that you can think of. And then moving into the fall, we have squash and pumpkins, and we bring in apples from the apple orchard. So Turner's has definitely worked as a family farm since the beginning. In terms of my dad and I and how we work together on the farm, that's been a really great relationship because the things that my dad prefers to do are not the things that I prefer to do, and vice versa. I work with the wholesale division and do a lot of the calls and talking to the buyers and working with other farms, and he prefers to be out into the field. When I first moved back to the farm, my dad started talking to me about this movement to create a food hub. So I started attending the meetings before the formation, and I met several people that worked for Farmers Union. And I was really drawn to how much they really wanted to help the small and medium farmers, and also the fact that they liked this cooperative method. I've been working with the wholesale division of Turner's for a while, and one of the things that wasn't working is that a lot of us were trying to work all by ourselves. And when we came together as a cooperative, we saw just the opposite of what I think a lot of the farms thought would happen, which is that we all ended up having more orders than we could even fill individually, and we ended up having more sales than when we were working on it as individual farms versus as a larger group. That's been really amazing to watch, and I think it's proven a lot of us wrong that working together actually does work better than when we're trying to all do it on our own. I think the Farmers Union draws such a diverse membership because they actually have a true understanding of the different operations. And the one thing I find about Farmers Union is that the leadership is actual farmers that have an understanding of the struggles that different farmers go through. The Wisconsin Food Hub Cooperative would not be here without the Wisconsin Farmers Union. It's made a true mark on what Wisconsin is doing in wholesale. Before the Wisconsin Food Hub, there were not very many wholesale farms in Wisconsin serving the larger retail community. So what Wisconsin Farmers Union and the Wisconsin Food Hub have done, not just for these few farms, but for Wisconsin in general, has been huge.
My farm history started when I was about 12 years old. I bought my own calf.
I grew up on 10 acres, a hobby farm, so we just had horses. And then when I met Jim, he was into farming and had the farming background. So in 1992 is when we bought the family land. And then in 1995, this farm here came open and we were able to expand then. So we bought this place and looking at starting our future together here and growing our family.
Me and Lisa started raising Holstein heifers for the neighbor farmer. We started purchasing beef cows back in 1991. We decided that's what we wanted to do, is to farm and raise our family here.
Now we are up to 920 acres and we have 150 cows.
In the cow-calf operation that I have, I make money by raising baby calves to weaning weight. They'll go to a feedlot or a background guy that'll raise them the rest of the way.
Our life typically on the beef farm will vary depending on the seasons. Right now our cows are on pasture, so we do a lot of pasture rotation. With the storms that have been going on lately, checking the fences and mending the fences is almost an everyday thing. We have 17 miles of fence.
If there was a bad storm the night before, I'd go and check the fences, make sure there's no trees on the fences and stuff like that.
Then we'll just figure out what we want to do for the day. So every day can kind of vary. Between 4 kids, my husband and myself, will do different activities.
We're always doing something, either hauling hay or fixing fences, moving cows from one pasture to the next. We seem to work together as a family on just about everything.
So one day we got a letter from Farmers Union that was inviting us to the Emerging Leaders Retreat. We didn't know too much about Farmers Union at that time, and one thing that really drew our attention was they were inviting the whole family. So we went as a family. It was fun, it was fun to talk to other people that are farming and doing the same thing that we're doing. When I think of Farmers Union and the values that the members have, my mind quickly goes to thinking that we are all dedicated, hard workers, and we love the land. I think by people meeting and talking about the politics, it gives everybody a voice to be heard in what we're doing.
The Farmers Union organization is full of different people. You got organic farmers, conventional farmers, and everybody's got their own opinion on how things should be, and everybody's got to farm together in different ways just to make the world go around.
Everybody might be farming just a little bit different, and I think it's good to help each other and educate each other on where everybody's coming from. We're not all farming the same, but it's good to hear each other.
Hi, I am Brad Goblin from Goblin Homestead Farm, just south of Osseo. Our farm was established in 1870. I am the 6th generation that's taking over this farm, and after growing up, seeing my grandpa farm, my dad farm, my uncle, I said I want to give it a shot, and in 2011 that was my opportunity, and well, I'm still going today, so a typical day on this dairy farm starts around 6 a.m. Milk the cows. I do the milking. My dad is in charge of feeding the cows, and my uncle helps out. He feeds the heifers at another farm, and my mom does all the calf chores. And then in between that, depending on what has to get done, cleaning sheds, planting, harvesting is done during the day, and then usually about 4 o'clock we head back down for evening chores and get the milking done and feeding, and then about 7:38 we're wrapped up for the day and getting ready for the next day. Well, originally when I first started, going through high school, going through the careers class, I was going to go to River Falls, get my 4-year degree, and then work somewhere in the world for 10 years, whether a nutritionist or somewhere, and then come back to the family farm. But like my dad said, it probably wouldn't have been there when I came back, so I had to kind of dive in when the time was right, I guess. I think the values that we all share at Farmers Union, even whether it's, many different types of operations, it's just we come together, our beliefs are relatively the same, and it's like we can put all our voices into one and try to be heard in one voice. I think the big value that sticks out in my head is family farms. We're I'm the 6th generation, so we're a family. We've still got my dad, mom, uncle all helping, and it's, all the work gets done basically majority by the family. And I think that's a big thing that most Farmers Union values is whether it's dairy, CSA, diversified livestock, crop, anything, everything's done by the family with still some outside labor, but the structure is the family farm keeping the backbone going. I think no matter what size or what type, our values are all the same. Can be heard bigger and better in one voice. I dairy farm because it's not cut out for everybody, but it's just the fact of my dad did this, my grandpa did this, my great-grandpa did this. You know what? I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can, as long as I have the opportunity to. I'm living the legacy, I guess.
I'm Michael Slattery. My wife and I, Nancy, we have lived on this farm since 1999, 203 acres. It's fairly flat land. I have 7 different soil types on it. I grew up on a farm in southeast Iowa, and we moved there when I was 4 years old, and I left there when I was 18. It was an extended family farm. We had all the joys as well as trials and tribulations of working together as an extended family, and it was a great experience growing up on a farm. So I wish to raise my children with that same sort of thinking and values, and that's why I came back to farming. So the values of the Farmers Union are many, and they're very diverse. One is a belief in what you are doing. The newest farmers we have tend to largely be small organic farmers. There are other farmers like myself. I'm not an organic farmer. I am a average size conventional farmer. I am practicing the type of farming that I learned growing up on this farm in Iowa. I am attempting to improve on those techniques. Consciousness towards the climate, consciousness towards the environment. I mean, these are the values of farming. So what are we attempting to do? Well, I've been cover cropping for 2 years. This improves the soil. This soil is not ours. It will be passed on someday. How do we leave the land in better shape than what we took it? That's what it means to be a steward, and I think many of the people in the Farmers Union, that's how they view farming as well. How we take care of the land, how we take care of the resources, how we take care of each other. I mean, we often look at this natural world, but really the most important thing in the natural world is each other. And that, to me, is the essence of the Farmers Union. Policy for the Farmers Union, as well as for any organization, is very important. The struggle that goes on in the discussions on the policy resolution, this is really working out truth. There are more aspects of truth than my own, and we need to recognize that. We need to respect each other, respect the dignity of the other person. It's important that people get up, that they not be reticent, that they not be embarrassed, that they get up and they speak to what they believe is factual or what they believe is truth. And we'll work it out.
So I'm Michael Rossett, and along with my wife Patty Wright, we run Spring Hill Community Farm in Prairie Farm, Wisconsin. We started our CSA in 1992, so this is our 25th season as a CSA, and we're still going.
So the idea with community supported agriculture is that there's a community of people that come together to support an individual farm. We initially heard about the concept on actually an interview on Wisconsin Public Radio.
And we looked at each other and we said, we could do this. One of the things that was a driver for us is that we knew we couldn't do this by ourselves.
Our CSA is 25 years old, and I think what has sustained us is that community of people. We actually have our members come out each Tuesday and Saturday. They help us harvest, wash, pack the vegetables, and drive them back in.
That's something that they wanted to do. They wanted to materially participate in some way, shape, or form.
I think just that little infusion of fresh energy has really been a gift for us.
I think that for a CSA farmer, at least for us, there's no typical day. We grow about 35 to 40 different crops throughout the season.
It's an intense season. Our work is concentrated in those 9 months.
So depending on what the rain does, what the harvest schedule is, May, June, July, we're still planting, cultivating, harvesting.
There's a lot of bean picking, a lot of cucumber picking, a lot of zucchini picking, of course. And then additional planting, because with the CSA share, you want a wide variety of things. I think what attracted us to Farmers Union was similar to what attracted us to community-supported agriculture.
I was amazed at how many different places my values aligned with Farmers Union values.
With the community supported agriculture, we have individuals that are supporting this farm, but with Farmers Union, it will give us the opportunity to connect with other farmers, and I think that is its strength, really.
One of the things that Farmers Union does that I respect tremendously is create the space where debate can occur in a respectful and democratic fashion. And I think that's important to create in that space where people can openly and respectfully disagree, I think is a strength.
Some of the values that I see as important in Farmers Union to me and to others is vibrant rural communities. So that's the schools, the infrastructure that we all need to survive, that we see crumbling, can only really be there if we all come together and see our rural communities as something we need to hold up.
And so I see that in my community of Prairie Farm, for example, how important it is to have a strong, vibrant farming community. And if that goes away, the school goes away. And if the school goes away and the farms go away, democracy goes away. So one member, one vote, I think that's really profound.